Hey, my lovelies, it is time. It is time. Come on in the room. That's room 1420. I got Foodies with the T in here.
Guys, hey.
Yo.
Radio Life.
Hi. We got Latoya, we got Clint, we got Antoine holding it down today. And y'all, I know, especially with the onslaught of all these great folks coming to Birmingham and for the World Games 2022, we have a lot of people who are Airbnb out there for services. But Twan, there's been a discrepancy. What is going on in the Airbnb world?
This is more than a discrepancy. This is a whole invasion of my boudoir privacy. And it just ain't happening. It's just not happening. So what happened was there was a lady who actually rented an Airbnb. Unbeknownst to her, her whole stay there was recorded from the outside, the inside living areas, and as well her bedroom.
Oh, hell no.
Through this same host, whoever was hosting that property, another young lady stayed there. She invited a gentleman caller over. He being a person who investigated something similar to hidden cameras, so he knew what to look for. He eventually seen an adapter that was plugged into the wall and saw the blue light on it. And so what he did was when he got a flashlight and it reflected like the blue screen on the camera, and that's how he found out it was a camera in there. He eventually sued that host, and that's how the first young lady found out that she was recorded because of that case. So they let, like, I think everybody who rented from that host know that they probably was on tape. Yeah. And I mean,
so
when I tell you all sexual acts were recorded.
No. So did she sue him too?
She sued, well, who? The guy?
No, yeah. Did the lady, the one who found out later that it was recorded, did she sue?
She sued the host. It wasn't that guy. It was just the guy who found the camera, who was initially just a invite to somebody who was staying there.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so basically she had a booty call.
Right. And he found
the gentleman calling over and he found out. So that guy and that lady end up suing that property. And then that's how the other young lady found out that she was recorded.
Now, here's a question, because as an owner, I do understand having security, and I've been in Airbnb like the last year. So I understand cameras being on the premises for everybody's safety, especially in certain areas. I've never.
It's only supposed to be in the common areas. So that's outside the living room, and I want to say like the kitchen, but nothing in the bathrooms nor the bedrooms. And then they initially said that even in the house, it doesn't really supposed to be cameras inside the house. They're only really supposed to be what they call noise monitors.
Right.
So you can't really record anything inside the house at all.
You're not supposed to.
So Airbnb basically has these policies. So it's not like the homeowners don't know this, but there is an infringement on your privacy. And my whole thing is kind of like, okay, again, I do get the fact that, you're a property owner. You want to make sure no one destroys your property. There's a lot of that going on. Parties and, people turning real situations into really.
But even in that, I feel like once you leave, you have to go and check the property. You can assess the damage then. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like a rental car. Every time you return it back in, I have to do the whole maintenance thing. I have to look at it, check everything. So it's not like, oh, you can't say, well, I didn't damage your table. It was the person before me. It was damaged before I came. No, I check it every time a person enters and when they leave. So I know what my property looked like when you came in.
Okay, but that's not
like I'm sorry, but that's some creepy ass shit though. I mean, like, what would you get? What would I get out of like viewing people that are in my property, like viewing their every move and their every, moments of
Some people
privacy.
just want it for the sexual.
First of all, you got to be somewhat of a voyeur, okay, to even want to even put a camera in somewhere that actually is present with people. And number two, like I said, I think it's a security situation. But on the same note, what are you doing with that footage? Better yet, I mean, it's one thing for security, but you also have to let people know and have them have the option of not being a part of that whole equation.
And I think they
under surveillance.
And I don't know how that works per se, again, because remember Toya, when we were doing one here in Birmingham, they said that we have cameras watching. So it's almost like you're consenting, but you're not necessarily consenting to where all they are. You know what I mean?
Right. Because we stayed in a lake house. Oh my God. I'm sorry, y'all. My phone started doing so crazy. But we stayed in the lake house, and that was part of we did have to consent to them having the cameras that were in the common areas. There were none in the bathrooms or the bedrooms, but they had cameras in the house because people would always rent this house and throw parties. So their biggest thing was, we are always watching because they want to make sure that their property is safe, and two, that nobody's throwing parties in their residence. So for some things, I can understand it. I can see it for some locations, but you have to definitely disclose if you're going to.
And I think that's what I read in the article as well, that's why they're not supposed to be inside at all. Like, you can record whatever you want to outside. Because again, if somebody's having a party, you can see that traffic coming into your residence. You don't necessarily have to see what's all going on in there, but I can conclude, if it's 50 people walking up at one time,
it's a party going on in that bitch. Oh God!
You hear me? And then you got the kids, the beer, the coolers, the grill. You got the pinatas, the poinsettias. Y'all finna do something. It's a whole fiesta.
Because I have a friend actually that has I stayed at her Airbnb downtown, and that was one of the things. She actually had a situation where someone had just simply said, "Hey, I got a couple of friends coming over the weekend," and ended up having a full-blown party. But the thing about it was they damaged a lot. So again, I understand, especially if I wanted to be an owner and I rented my place out, that would make sense. But yes, it's totally off center, and I'm glad that they did sue these people.
So you would put one in the house?
What now?
You would put one in the house?
No, I'm glad that they didn't. I mean, unless I was just, unless I was just a straight voyeur and I was just trying to, get some. I mean, and I'm thinking too, so did they have you on a live stream? Or is it just recorded?
No, these were recorded.
That's a question.
That is the question. Are you watching
everything that I do?
Right.
They are being recorded, because what happened was the initial lady who found out after the fact, the reason why she found out after the fact, because this was a whole year from the time she rented and the time that the guy came and found the camera.
Wow.
And they showed her the video of her, everything she did.
Wow. So a spokesperson for Airbnb stated that they strictly prohibit hidden cameras. Mm-hmm. So you can have cameras, but they prohibit the hidden cameras, and they will immediately remove you from their platform if they find out that you have hidden cameras in the house.
Well, it's nice to know that these folks are gone out of the equation.
Cameras,
oh God, baby, get them the fuck up out of here.
But I bet you one thing: if you do have one in there, you gonna say that nigga was working.
Unless you're gonna give me a copy.
Baby, because they had some.
Can I get the copyright? Can I get the masters? I need the masters.
Period. Because
I want the whole catalog.
I need the masters. This is why it's important to show out every time.
On somebody's.
You never know.
XXX site. Start me a page, not fans only.
Hey, it gives a new meaning to the whole phrase. All eyes on me.
You know what?
Yeah. They're gonna say, I thought that boy had died at one point. Listen.
Y'all.
I call me the resurrector.
Okay.
My God.
Antoine.
Bye, Antoine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, that's Foodies with the T, y'all.
And on that note,
Monday through Friday, 7 to 10. You know when it gets juicy, we gotta cut everything off. But if we want to get in contact with you and follow Foodies with the T, how do we go about doing that, Latoya?
You can follow us on Instagram at the Foodies with the T and Facebook Foodies with the T. Make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel as well. It is Foodies with the T.
All right.
And see us at Melanin and Mimosas this coming Sunday.
Yes. Come with the Foodies.
With Chrisette Michelle hosting, and I think she's gonna do a little performance as well.